Success is how well you dress illusion. To call a modern truth, we exist more in flux than in control. It's a confusing world, after all. The deluge of information served to us daily sufficiently schizophrenic in character and detail. To make sense of the rapidity of our lives, we are often forced into surrogates to understand things. Surrogates are the vessels of existence we choose as vehicles to administer validity and a sense of self. Surrogates could be your job, your family, your goals. You get the picture. Despite how efficacious these may or may not be in affording meaning, they are a diversion from the grand totality of being. Something we cannot possibly imagine without either returning to prehistoric ignorance or becoming omniscient. With this in mind, we need a status quo, a commonly understood framework of denominators from which to qualify our surrogates. This translates to standards, cultures, rules. Again, you get the picture. With these two created devices in tow, surrogates and status quo, we have the requisite conditions to forge a well-meaning illusion within which to live. Now, some people might take exception to being told that they live in an illusion, but that's simply their constructed ego getting in the way. Should the apparent need for surrogates and status quo be eliminated, it is possible to see how inconsequential an individual life really is, which, quite frankly, can be terrifying. Yes, to peg one's finite existence on this planet as anything other than godly can be mortifying. Hence the reasons surrogates and status quo are elevated to be the arbiters of civil society. So this illusion, what does it mean? It means the carefully constructed economic model that dictates our lives, sold to us as culture, nationalism, identity, etc. It's so pervasive that we cannot even contemplate another way of living. So you could name it reality, and with it being so widespread, sure, it could be construed that way. Still, the illusion part comes to the fore when you're duped into believing there is no other way to live. Now, I'm no conspiracy theorist, nor do I wish to randomly lament the state of things. I benefit from the system as much as anyone. And by terming it illusion, that's my cross to bear. Anyway, illusion is the status quo. And when it's accepted wholesale, everyone gets a chance to play it. Democracy, anyone? Despite the whole game being rigged. Success is how well you dress illusion. Okay, well, this is a simple concept. Take money. It exists as a structure rather than a real thing, with the invested power it contains residing purely in the minds of its users. There are trillions of pieces of paper with ink on them the world over, so why should some be worth more than others? Well, because we're taught to accept that if a note issued by a government for widespread economic use has a higher number printed on it, it's worth more. A simple, efficient way to dress illusion. Another example is that of celebrity. I mean, what makes a person famous? How talented they are, how rich they are, how infamous they are? How about the size of their butts? You know, it's a classic case of bread and circuses, ascribing value and worth to cultural pivots around which a smorgasbord of products and services can be sold and henceforth consumed. Again, dressing the illusion. At the heart of the illusion are its citizens, raised on an approximate diet of surrogates and status quo to keep the economic wheel turning. At its base are the materialists, the segment of the world population primarily concerned with consumption. To wit, think of an overweight, disease-ridden slob covered in magazines, either living for the delivery of his next assault rifle or wall-sized television. Bringing the products and services to the materialists. They, an intelligent working class equivalent who, either due to moral indoctrination or lack of capital, find themselves lumped in this role with little chance at proper social mobility. Then come the causalists, aka the prime movers. Due to their position at the illusion's helm, these economic puppeteers can structure socio-economic elements at will, wielding their illusory control over an illusory realm via stockpiling illusory domains of wealth. They sit atop the class system pyramid laughing, not so much at the illusory nature of being, but rather at those below them who, due to pure ignorance or flat-out denial, cannot fathom that we live in a deliberately fashioned illusion. The modern world has gone to immense efforts to detail and dress the illusion. Consider the scale of astounding cities, the tapestry of time and space-bending technologies, or how art and music can whisk audiences away to realms that feel more real than this one. Yes, we've been draped in success to the point that we've integrated ourselves entirely with it. And along the way, we've developed out-of-control egos, only to find ourselves in the darkest of hours lamenting that which we cannot pinpoint. The reality that we have become detached from our original natures. And we might possibly never come to know these.